We all think we know the quesadilla. It's quick, it's cheesy, it's pretty much the perfect go-to snack. But what happens when you start treating it with the same kind of respect you'd give a gourmet meal? Well, today, we're diving into exactly that. We're going to unlock the secrets to totally transform it, all guided by the amazing techniques of Chef Nick.
And that quote, it just nails the mission here. We are drawing a clear line in the sand. We're separating that late-night microwave snack from a really thoughtfully built dish where every single ingredient has a purpose.
So how do we get there? I mean, what are the actual secrets that take a quesadilla from just being good to being truly great? That's what we're about to break down, and believe me, it all starts with the foundation.
Okay, first things first, the foundation. Because before you even think about the chicken or the cheese, you got to realize that the quality of your tortilla can literally make or break the entire dish.
Making your own flour tortillas from scratch? It is, without a doubt, the single biggest upgrade you can possibly make. Nick flat out calls it a total game changer, and it is. I mean, think about the difference between dried pasta and fresh pasta. It's that level of transformation for both the texture and the flavor.
And you know what? When you look at the process, it's actually surprisingly simple. First, you just combine your dry stuff with some fat. Park lard is best, but shortening or butter works great too. You rub that fat into the flour till it looks kind of like sand, a lot like you're making a pie crust. Then add some warm water to bring it all together. Give it a quick knead for a few minutes. And then, here's the most important part, you have to let it rest. That 30-minute rest is absolutely crucial for a soft, pliable tortilla. And hey, do not stress about trying to get them perfectly round. I love this quote. It's so true. Homemade tortillas are supposed to be unique, a little rustic. The goal here isn't to make them look perfect. It's all about that superior taste and that amazing, chewy, soft texture that you just can't get out of a plastic bag from the store.
Okay, we've got our foundation locked in. Now let's talk about the star of the show, the chicken. We're not just going to cook it, we're going to build layers of deep, complex flavor right from the very beginning. The secret to incredible chicken starts, of course, with the marinade. And just look at this combination. You've got these earthy spices like Mexican oregano and cumin, a bright acidity from both lime and orange juice. And then, here's the twist, a savory umami kick from soy sauce. That little bit of sugar isn't really for sweetness. It's there to balance all those other powerful flavors. It's like a symphony of ingredients all working together.
Now, what's the best cut of chicken for this? The answer, hands down, is chicken thighs. And why is that? Well, it all comes down to one thing, fat. Chicken thighs just have more fat content than breasts, and that translates directly to more flavor, more tenderness, and it's way less likely to dry out when you cook it.
The cooking method itself is all about a super high-heat sear. You actually weigh the chicken down to get maximum contact with the pan, which creates this dark, almost black crust. And I need to be really clear about this. That is not burnt. That is a delicious, smoky char. It's a layer of flavor you can only get from this specific technique. All right, we have our perfect tortillas, we have our super flavorful chicken. Now it's time for the elements that bring it all into harmony, the cheese and the sauce. Think of these as the crucial supporting actors that create balance. Okay, I need you to listen to this. This is a rule you just cannot break. And there's a really good reason for this warning. See that pre-shredded cheese you buy in a bag? It's coated in stuff like potato starch or even cellulose to keep it from clumping. And those same starches completely prevent it from melting into that glorious gooey texture we're all looking for. So please, grate your own cheese. It's a non-negotiable. This brings us to a core concept, something we're going to call the two-cheese rule. So instead of trying to find one cheese that does everything, you get strategic and you choose two different types. One is picked purely for its ability to melt into those amazing, long, stringy cheese pulls, and the other is chosen specifically for its powerful flavor.
So for the melt, you'd use something like Oaxaca cheese. It's mild, it's milky, and it's the undisputed champion of the cheese pull. Then for flavor, you bring in a sharp cheddar. That's what adds that tangy punch that can really stand up to the spices in the chicken. Together, they create the absolute perfect cheese experience.
A great quesadilla is, by its nature, rich and fatty and cheesy. So, what's the sauce's job in all this? Well, its one and only job is to provide balance. It needs to cut right through all that richness with acidity from lime, a smoky heat from chipotle peppers, and a fresh brightness from herbs like cilantro. It's the perfect counterpoint that makes the whole dish sing. Okay, all our components are prepped and ready to go. It is time for the finale, the assembly, and the final cook. This is where all that prep work comes together with technique. You're not just throwing stuff in there. The assembly is actually pretty methodical. You start with a layer of cheese on one half of the tortilla. Then you add your chicken. But here's the key. You top that chicken with another layer of cheese. This creates a cheese sandwich that literally acts like a glue, locking that filling in place and making sure every single bite has that perfect ratio of ingredients.
Okay, let's talk about a problem we've all had, right? Why do so many quesadillas end up as a greasy, soggy mess? You think you need to add butter or oil to the pan to get it crispy, but a lot of the time it just soaks into the tortilla and makes it limp. So what's the right way?
And here it is, the big secret. You cook it in a completely dry pan. No oil, no butter, nothing. I know, it sounds totally counterintuitive, but the science behind it is just brilliant.
And here's why it works. As that quesadilla heats up in the dry pan, the fat from the cheddar and the Oaxaca cheese starts to render out. That liquid fat then basically fries the outside of the tortilla from the inside out. The result isn't a greasy mess. It's a perfectly crisp, golden brown crust that is unbelievably crunchy. It's genius.
So let's just run through the 5 big keys we've covered one more time. 1. Start with homemade tortillas. It's a total game changer. 2. Build a deep, complex flavor base for your chicken. 3. Always obey the 2-cheese rule for both melt and flavor. 4. Create a sauce for acidic balance. And finally, number 5, cook it in a dry pan to get that ultimate crispy crust.
When you really think about it, these principles, focusing on quality ingredients, building flavor in layers, and understanding the science of how things cook, you can apply them to